there's a Pew poll that was taken recently, a Pew poll. 80% of Americans believe in miracles. But I add to that, 90% don't think they can be the one that generates it. The objective is to take those people who believe in miracles and advance them into the realm of producers, generators. You came here to produce miracles. You are a miracle. Your life is a miracle. What's not a miracle about you? I mean, everything about you is a miracle.
Welcome to The Reluctant Medium, where we cover the gamut of out there conversations. With an open mind and a curious heart, we want to talk about it all. From psychic phenomena and energy medicine to beings from other star systems and out-of-body experiences. You'll find a great balance between grounded science-backed topics and others that science hasn't quite caught up to yet. I'm your host, Dr. Maria Rothenberger, a psychotherapist by trade and a reluctant spirit baby communicator. And hey, even though I'm a medium, I'm not buying everything folks are selling. I just have a voracious appetite to know more about what I call the world of the weird. Join us on your favorite podcast platform or watch on YouTube at The Reluctant Medium. I'll see you there. Hey, welcome everyone to the Reluctant Medium podcast. It isn't often that I feel giddy to interview someone on my podcast, but today's guest, I am beyond delighted to invite to have a chat today. Dr. Mark Mincolla is a nutritional therapist and a quantum energy healer who's transformed the lives of more than 60,000 patients over the last 35 years. I happened upon his documentary, The Way of Miracles, about a year and a half ago, and felt called to invite him to have a conversation with me. And interestingly, I didn't hear back, and I thought that's because he's celebrity. And then 3 months ago, I get an email from his assistant who says, "Oh my gosh, your email got lost in spam. Are you still interested?" And I'm like, yes, yes, please. So here we are today. Thank you so much, Dr. Mincolla, for being here with me today.
Well, thank you so much for asking me. It's great to be here with you.
I cannot wait to delve into some of these constructs, some of these ideas that I was so inspired by in your documentary. I often ask folks about their history and how they come to do the work that they do, but I actually want to direct people to your website for that, because I want to allot as much time as possible to some of these deeper topics. One of the beliefs that I hold around helping people, being of service in this world, is to empower other people. And I feel that that is a huge message that I got from your documentary, The Way of Miracles. And of course, I'll link to it. One of the things that you said in the beginning of that documentary is just to give somebody a label is to disempower them. And I wondered if you'd be willing to speak to that today.
I think the key point to that is when I see people, like I'm seeing you, and I'm seeing people all day in my life, in my work, and in my walking in the streets of Boston on all that all day long. It's souls. I don't see egos. I mean, I become programmed to see souls where I used to see egos.
Yeah.
And I can't help it anymore. Now I just see souls. And souls are limitless. There's no limit to souls. Souls are infinite. They're limitless. So the part of people, as when people struggle with the concept of self-love, I would say, look at, you're used to seeing yourself with a problem with identity. You got a problem that you got to deal with your identity. There's something I wrote about in one of my books called Identify Your Eye. Identify your eye. Identify your eye. There's the new book, The Way of Miracles. I have people look in the mirror for 10 minutes. To the mirror, look in the core of your eyes for 10 minutes. And don't stop 8 or 7 or 5. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And just keep looking in the core of your eyes. You see the essence of your presence. The essence of your presence is your soul. There's no limit to soul. Soul has no limitations. It's infinite. So when we give somebody a label, usually related to some kind of material objectivity, so it's material-based observation. It might point out something about a person's personality that I'd like to say probably is grumpy, something like that. So you identify them with a label of grumpiness. You identify them with something like they're driving in 5 o'clock traffic and they're very nervous. You identify them as anxious, anxiety-ridden. Those are material labels that detract from the beauty of the wholeness of the soul. It really represents. But number one, you're not identifying with a real person. You're not doing them a favor. You're identifying with an image. In fact, you'd be identifying with the true beauty of their infinite soul, which is incredible. I mean, people are just amazing. People are just amazing. They're amazing. They don't know they're amazing, but they're amazing. My job is to be here. My job is to come here to inform them that they're amazing and to prove to them that they're amazing and to celebrate their amazingness with them if they want to join me.
I feel like crying. Yes. And your job is reminding them that they're amazing. Like they forgot. Oh, yeah, I am. The empowerment that you gave to so many people. I mentioned before we started recording that I initially outreached you because my former podcast is the Miracles Happen fertility podcast, and you had a fertility patient on your documentary. But one of the things that I learned from you, because my podcast was called Miracles Happen, and you said miracles don't just randomly happen, we create them.
We become them.
Oh, yeah. Can you speak more about that?
I said there's 4 possibilities of miracles: reject, accept, expect, create. So I think there's a Pew poll that was taken recently, a Pew poll. 80% of Americans believe in miracles. But I add to that, 90% don't think they can be the one that generates it. The objective is to not just to take those people who believe in miracles and advance them into the realm of producers, generators. And you don't want to just say, Mother Teresa, great, beautiful. You came here to produce miracles. You are a miracle. Your life is a miracle. So it's not a miracle about you. I mean, everything about you is a miracle. If the fact that you made it through life the way you have up to this point in time, starting with your birthing experience, starting with the amazing celestial connections that were necessary for your presence to become an energetic property in the universe. That's incredible miracles. Incredible miracles. But I think that it's really important to embrace, take and accept responsibility as a miracle maker and as a miracle. Become the miracle.
Yeah, but you call it a responsibility. Why is it a responsibility?
Because the universe is very real.
Yeah.
And you know something? The universe isn't a place. It's not like a galaxy. It's not like this city. It's not like this place that we have to visit. You're the universe. In the universe. We are the universe. We are the universe. So I think we need to focus on our consciousness, our super consciousness. Be aware of the fact that we are the universe. And that bears a heavy load. That's a heavy responsibility. It's a beautiful thing, but it's for real. It's for real. There's a lot of density to it. There's a lot of reality to it that's very powerful. Life, expansion, contraction, and death is a very real process. We can tell ourselves in no uncertain terms that we're not going to go through that. But we're in the middle of it at all times. In the middle of it at all times. It's pretty serious stuff. And it requires loving attention, requires loving consciousness, requires soulful embrace every step of the way.
Oh my goodness. I think you need to be a poet as well. I'm wondering then, we talked briefly again before I hit record, and I wish that I had hit record sooner, that my experience personally has been a little opposite, where folks are really not stuck, but really on the earth plane, really about reductionist thinking and this kind of thing. But I went to the soul place first and then realized, I need to come back down to the level of the body because my body was having issues with immune stuff. And so how do you help folks create a balance between, because your work has been nutrition, which is physical, right? How do you make that connection or help folks find that balance between their soul and their physical being?
First of all, my work is about medicine. It's about revolutionizing medicine. Revolutionizing medicine. Nutrition is therefore one of the primary medical support systems. But it's about making miracles. It's about getting people to understand that healing is a miracle waiting to happen with your input, with your providence. So I think that key is that holism is about I should say our system, the whole health healing system, which is what I really do. The whole health healing system is a body, mind, spirit experience. It covers everything. That's the way miracles came off that they came off that same spin, not that same. But I think that people who heal physiologically, a lasting way, have to heal holistically, not just physiologically. You can nutrition, supplements, things like that, very important. But like we have a system, you check people's energies, muscle test foods, muscle test glands, organs, root systems of disease. In other words, we always say you can come up with certain conditions like Epstein-Barr virus or something like that. You can have any condition, rheumatoid arthritis. There's a root. Is your kidney, liver, gallbladder? What is your root? Go to the root and energetically release the energy from that root. We'll get better. But we're always working with energy. It's energy and matter. Energy and matter. It's super consciousness along with conscious. I mean, think about this. Your conscious mind can produce 2,000 bits of information per second. Your super conscious mind produces 400 billion, 100 billion. So the energy that you free up with your consciousness, the development of your consciousness, the energy that you free up becomes highly mobilizing to your whole being, highly mobilizing, very healing, very powerful. There's no limit to the power you can't generate. But the idea that you're so super, they're amazing. They're amazing. Superconscious frequencies, there's no end to them. So that's why I wanted to show the film, The Way of Miracles. The Way of Miracles is all about the idea that if you take the time to connect with your superconsciousness and manifest superconsciousness in your life, there's no limit. There are no limits. I mean, I've had designs of people with Parkinson's, cancer, AIDS, all kinds of different things, heart disease, tens of thousands of people, 60,000 appointments over the last 40 years. We've actually had a lot of miracles. We expect them. We know they're happening. We inject them into reality. So I think it's really important to embrace the concept of becoming more super conscious in your life and to work at it. Work at it. Because then you become the miracle. You don't wait for them. You don't expect them. You don't have it hard to debate whether they're real or not. You become the miracle. The miracle that makes the miracle.
That's beautiful. And you just are. You just are that. Oh, this is how it is. I'm just a miracle.
I mean, I think people, one of the most important things, as we all know, in healing is to love self. Really love self. Not just, I know it's the right thing to do. We talk about all the time. So I love myself. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the deep, passionate love of your soul, of your being, of your source. You have a strong connection with your own source, with your whole being. And people have a hard time loving themselves because they're misidentified. Yeah, I get this right. It's hard to love an ego. It's not hard to love a soul. To take the time to identify your true soul self automatically tell you to love yourself. But you have to identify your I. That's it.
How do you help folks identify their I in
Like
your
I said
work?
in the book, in The Way of Miracles, I have people look in the mirror for 10 minutes every day, 7 days a week. You're not taking one day off. I want you to do it every day, 7 days a week. Ad infinitum, 10 minutes, not 8 minutes, 10 minutes. You do that alone. You'll see like I said, you'll see into your true nature, the essence of your presence, the essence of your presence. Think about that. Essence is super subtle. The essence of your presence. Presence is powerful. Essence is, well, very etheric. The etheric power that you have. Well, when you see your soul by looking in your own eyes, you'll never be the same again. You'll never be the same. Never be the same. That's one way. There's a lot of exercises in the book. I've
Oh,
written
yes.
I've written 7 books too, so I'm working on
Oh,
my eighth book.
yes.
The book I'm working on right now is about death.
Oh, wow.
Nobody's written happily about death. Did you ever see a happy book about death?
A happy book? I've never seen a happy book about death.
You're going to see one soon.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's so important.
I mean, think of this. The Tai Chi circle. Beautiful circle, light on one side, dark on the other. Mutual compatibility of opposition. Mutual compatibility of opposition. The idea that there's nothing more powerful, more wonderful, more beautiful than spectacular than wholeness. Wholeness is the goal. Wholeness is the goal. Not being a superstar, not being a millionaire, not wholeness is the goal. Wholeness is the goal. When you take the time to embrace and learn from dialogue with darkness, embrace the darkness, part of the whole that works with in tandem with the light, mutual compatibility of opposition. Everything changes. Everything changes. So this whole paranoia about death, whole paranoia about the universe not knowing, not having its shit together. So this is all crazy fear-based paranoia. You gotta tap into the reality that the universe is perfect, knows exactly what it's doing, and you in mind all the time.
I love that statement right there. The universe is perfect and knows what it's doing. And we are the universe. Yeah.
Yes, we are. Exactly right. We are. The universe isn't a place. There's not a big sign on the gate that says universe, come on in. Close
Yeah.
at 9. We close at 9 tonight.
Goodbye. We're out. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to read that. I can't wait. It's such an important topic. Folks get really scared about death. Even I do like tarot readings and things. People get scared by the death card and stuff. And I'm thinking it's just transition. It's just
You know
one
what? You know
ending.
what inspired me is this. I, I've helped people heal virtually every disease known to man. There's nothing I've helped successfully heal. Helping patients successfully. No, nothing. Everything is amazing. If you work on a holistic level and a highly super conscious level and all that. So here's the thing. I sat down one day and I said, the only thing I never healed was death. I got an idea. I'm going to heal death. I'm going to be the one that heals death in this country, in this world. So that's this book.
Said right here and right now. I
took
believe it.
I took it on. I just think somebody's got to take it on. It's like I'm serious about my work. There's no reservations. There's no reservations. There's no limitations. We got to do what we came for, you know.
I love every single word of this. And that's one thing that you worked with folks about. Well, this was shown in the documentary. That, for example, there was a young woman who had experienced illness her whole life since she was a little kid. And she brought in apparently a mound of paperwork, a mound of medical history. And you're like, no, I don't, I don't need that. We're
That's not your
going,
story. I want to hear your story. I don't want to hear that.
yeah, right. Well,
Let's get your story. Let's get your story. Let's talk to your soul. Let's talk to your heart. Let's talk to your inner. Let's get your real story.
right. Your body and your soul are going to tell me what's
Yeah,
happening here.
the dossier is a reaction. It's not action. It's a reaction.
Aha. I like that.
You talk to the soul, you get the action.
You know, it's interesting that you said that. And I've actually gotten pushback on this because I was diagnosed with endometriosis. And I know for sure that it's gone. And when I talk about that with the fertility community, I get bitterness. You're telling me that I'm causing my endometriosis, and it's gosh, what do I say to that? Because I really feel like I healed that, but the Western medical community says it's not healable.
Oh, yeah, the sad part about that situation is that when you tell somebody that they're responsible for their imbalance, the other part of that that insinuation, I should say, is that gives you the power to fix it. Power to create it, it's the power to fix it. So if people were in a state of super consciousness, they'd be glad about that. It underscores the fact that they have equal power, created or to put it into it. I think people are powerless. People are not. They're not comfortable with power anymore. They don't not embrace their power, cultivate their power, dedicate their power, celebrate their power. Those are important realities that people into our ancestors were really clear about.
Yeah, that brings me to another case that was on the documentary. There was a woman who was an addict and she had been using cocaine, and she sat with you. First, she didn't want to continue working with you, but then came back and she said, I am not quitting cocaine. And you sat with her and said, that's okay. I'm here with you. It's like you were allowing her to exert her power because that's just what you allow.
No, it's really important to realize that when you're a healer, you're not doing the healing, you're doing the facilitating. They have to do the healing experience belongs to the patient. If you're to rob the patient that, you're actually putting them in a much less likelihood to heal situation. It's important that you give them the freedom to heal. Healing takes a lot of freedom.
Yes. And that is where our work aligns. I am very much about empowering others. I am not like the one who knows everything you know about you. It's just my job to support that and to highlight that you already know. You said in the movie, to attain higher levels of consciousness is ironically the result of doing less, not doing more. I'm curious about that.
Human doing versus human being. I think human being indicates that your beingness is nothing more powerful at producing results than being. Beingness represents consciousness. I would say that the focus is to elevate consciousness and to decrease your thought. Less thoughts, less thinking, more consciousness. Replace your thoughts with consciousness. So the idea that consciousness is key to the activation process, the wholeness that actually produces the wellness. That's the formula. So it's really important not to miss that. Healing is healing doesn't come from like it doesn't come from our ego. Healing comes from our soul. Healing comes from our spirit. Healing comes from our innermost core. I think the idea that healing is limited blows my mind. The culture just doesn't really understand it. I mean, I say the reason I made this movie and I've written 8 books is because people so easily give up, buy into the notion of partiality. I call it halfness. Halfness is the opposite of wholeness. And I think people buy into that. They have a hard time embracing wholeness. Because the world we live in, the culture we live in, very distracted. It's very addictive. I think addiction produces a lot of ADHD kind of spirit in the universe, in the world, rather. Yeah, I believe that the most important thing we can do is get grounded in our innermost being and really understand the soul that we are. If you tap into the soul that you are, you just identify the soul that you are, the soul that you are. The rest of it is yes, you're a soul. Really understand that soul and to really connect to that soul. That's your life right for all the days of your life. You'll be a beautiful life.
Yeah, I've certainly done Louise Hay calls it the mirror work, but not for 10 minutes and not for 7 days a week. So I think I must do that. And I think that I've found an absolute love of self. I think there's so much beauty there. I think though that 10 minutes looking into our own eyes, I think honestly, I will start bawling at the beauty there.
You know, whatever happens is perfect.
Yeah.
Whatever happens is perfect. And just keep showing up. Because there's something that's trying to come through you. There's something trying to come through us all the time. We don't often dedicate focus on that. I think that 10-minute mirror exercise every day, 7 days a week, keep showing up, keep going. Everybody tells me these remarkable stories. That's a book unto itself. The stories are incredible. Things I hear is just astounding from that 10 minutes. And people change radically. They change so radically. They're just not the same. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, they change radically. For the better.
I think I want to do some kind of work with my community and do just like a 3-week, let's all do this together. I think that would be amazing.
fantastic. Brilliant idea.
I think that'd be amazing. Is this why I am drawn so much to downsizing my house and living on larger property, and I cannot stand social media?
There's no question about the fact that you advance your consciousness, your receptors are very different stuff than the average person. And your sophistication is spiritual, and your dimensional is soulful. And those expanded concepts and those expanded potentials are going to lead you to places that are very different than you're accustomed to. And that can lead you to the world, and lead you to the universe. There's a difference between being worldly versus universal. You're universal, you're not worldly.
I can feel that. You said something in another interview that I watched where you were talking about being your 12-year-old self sitting in the backseat of mom's car, and you said, "Mom," and you started describing to her what you intended to do with your life, and you saw it. You saw your life happening. Do you feel like that's a skill that you have? Like you can read into others' lives, your own life, you can feel others' essences and their soul?
Yes, I think it is. I think it is. I mean, I have to be honest about that. We all have gifts. All of us. There's nobody without gifts. Nobody. But my gifts are very intuitive. They're very impulsively intuitive. They pop up. And they're always flowing through me. There's never a moment where I don't have intuitive pop up. I think that was one that's a remarkable one I had at 12 years old, like you point out. And we were in a car I was living in upstate New York at the time. We were driving from upstate New York to Massachusetts. And my brother's wife and his wife just had a baby. So we were coming up to see them. And I was, like I said, 12. And the car was going pretty quickly. And I'm looking out the window and I was trancing because I saw everything fly by and I get into a trance. And I saw a dream, like a trance-like dream of my life. I saw myself being a doctor, helping a lot of people. I saw myself counseling people in ways that were very unusual and teaching them about love and about consciousness and all that. And I told my mom, I just had a vision. I just saw something in myself as a kid. I said, I'm going to live up here in Massachusetts. I'm going to be a doctor. Oh, that's good, honey. You see
That's
this?
it, huh?
That's good. That's good.
What do you think would have happened had she encouraged that?
She didn't discourage it. She's very proud. She's very proud of her kids. You know, my mother was very, especially, she's very loving, very deeply loving person. And she's not a discourager at all. So, whatever you do, she's an encourager. But she just had a hard time believing that her 12-year-old son knew what was going on, you know?
I guess I have a 12-year-old son. I have a hard time believing that he knows what's going on.
Absolutely.
Do you feel that all souls have this ability, that all humans have the ability to intuit?
All humans have a gift, have gifts, have abilities to do things that are miracle things. Now, again, I think that you talked earlier about that, about the tendency to expand your consciousness in ways that actually bring about remarkable results. And like we said about miracles, miracles come from a deep place. And they don't come from a mundane place, a superficial place. The idea that we've had research, tons of research at places like Mayo Clinic, Cedars-Sinai Hospital in New York, Cedars-Sinai Mayo Clinic, they did extensive research. They found that when you go into delta brainwave states through trance and deeper meditation, mindful thinking, trance, and deeper meditation produce delta brainwaves, 1.05 to 4 cycles per second. That's really a very powerful frequency. They claim that it increases melatonin, serotonin, growth hormone. It increases like 800% within 4 hours.
Oh my gosh.
The numbers are just astounding. They're incredible. But we're producing a very different chemistry when we take the time to move into miracle mindset. I call it the miracle mindset. So miracle mind is delta. Alpha is beautiful, but it's not a miracle mindset. Beta is beautiful, but it's not a miracle mindset. Delta is a frequency. So roughly 432 cycles per second. But again, if you really understand what science is telling us now, it's telling us that the mind and a frequency that is like delta frequency produces miracles in the body, in the chemistry, in the brain, in the emotional and the nervous systems, et cetera, et cetera. So you're producing a different chemistry, miracle chemistry. the miracles have to happen by just having you take the time to shift your gears from, from consciousness to superconscious, subconscious to superconscious, from higher frequency to lower frequency. It's kind of like it's interesting. They also did research. They found that when people move into delta brainwave states, they tend to not think about the material world. Their ability to think about the material world isn't good. It's not there. It's not strong. It's not capable. So by not talking about the material world, you're moving into another world. You're moving into a different realm. It's a miracle world. I think it's really important to understand that that's the miracle state that we need to create. It's not a matter of the miracles exist in the dynamics. The question is, do you exist in the miracles context? Are you making yourself available to tap into the flow of that miracle system? Are you part of it? Are you part of the miracle universe? You claim it, you develop it, you're in it.
Yeah, you're saying you can choose that.
Yep.
That is making so much sense with my own experience, because meditation is how I opened up to other realms, why other souls on the other side started coming to me. It's astounding. This is like just a practical question. Can one reach delta brainwave state while awake?
Of course.
I didn't know that. I thought that was a sleep state.
No, it is. It can be. It can be the third phase of REM sleep. It happens automatically in the third phase of REM sleep, but you can actually develop it. You can cultivate it with mindfulness, simple mindfulness. So when you're like when I was sitting in the car as a kid, 12 years old, watching the trees go by, zzz, that'll move you right into delta.
Wow.
You sit on a lawn chair in your backyard, gaze up at the stars. Just don't take your eyes off the stars for 10 minutes, so you'll end up in a delta.
Oh gosh, I love that. I got to try this. I thought that, I don't have a way to measure it, but I thought I was going into theta state. But I wonder if I'm going into delta, because you're right. It's hard to be aware of the physical surroundings, like on the earth.
The other beautiful thing about that, you can pass through all the states. You can go through, start off at beta, and alpha, then to delta, move into theta, and back and forth. That still gets the job done. So if you end up even for 4 seconds in delta, good enough. Any time at all in delta is going to get the job done.
Wow.
It's made for your success. It's like when you think about the way the universe is set up for success. People don't appreciate this. They don't think about this. Interesting studies that were done that showed that people who performed acts of kindness to other people who received the acts of kindness had a dramatic increase in their serotonin levels and their dopamine levels as well. People who did who gave the acts of kindness, who sent them, transmitted them, equally high. But listen to this story. They found the same thing true for the people who observed. So people in the nearby area who observed that experience, who observed people being each other, being nice to each other, being giving to each other, their levels went up equally. Dopamine, serotonin, flies to the roof. If you just focus on, and again, people, what you watch, what you observe, you're digesting in a soulful level. Be aware of the fact that there's a lot of garbage. Stay away from the garbage. It's affecting you. People who are doubtful of that stuff, they're absolutely wrong. Careful what you drink up. Careful what you take in. The objective is to keep it very elevated, keep it very super conscious, and you'll benefit immeasurably. You'll be a miracle maker, and you'll appreciate the miracles that are happening within and around you.
Yeah. The way that you talk about keeping it elevated, it's that now is helping me make the connection between soulful, spiritual things, but also food, and what you consume, keeping it elevated.
Yeah, that's the key. The key is you have a choice. You have a choice. Yeah. There's people in the movie. Had a man with Parkinson's. He struggled with it. He says, "I can't believe the muscle testing, the food, and all this. It seemed like such a bunch of one. I'll try it." But he made a decision to do it, to try it. And I found that he had a virus that actually caused neurological symptoms, Parkinson's. He didn't have Parkinson's. We've done extensive research here. We estimate that 35 to 40% of all Parkinson's is virus. not really Parkinson's. If they're attentive to fighting viruses, they'd actually kill these people. This guy runs 3 miles a day now.
Oh my gosh. I recall seeing that it mimicked symptoms of like his brother had Parkinson's or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
symptoms.
Unbelievable. Symptoms.
So many different beautiful stories in that movie. That movie's amazing. In
Yeah. How did you
150,
even?
in 153 countries.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to spread it far and wide. It's mind blowing. And I can't imagine how you chose just those few because thousands and thousands of folks that you have helped. I just want to hear all of their stories. I really was that documentary had me in tears. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, so the final question that I have for you is around extrasensory perception. You said in the movie, the unseen extrasensory components of self that exist beyond the parameters of the five senses are the missing link to human greatness.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said that. Maybe it came from universal consciousness. I don't know. That was brilliant.
It's special. I like it. It's pretty special. But it makes perfect sense too. I mean, it's saying that in a lot of things, but it's saying among other things that you have limitless perfection. You're a being that produces limitless perfection. And for you to tap into your higher self, those elements of your and those transcendent elements of your being that you don't often tap into because the world doesn't go there. The world doesn't go there at all. So you tend not to go there. You wake up your day, you put your shoes on, you brush your teeth, you go to work, and you do your work stuff, then you come home and you make dinner, and then you pass out. You're back in bed to do another day. So we don't tend to delve into those realms. The quote invites us to believe in ourselves, to experiment with ourselves, probe our limitless possibilities, and to become magnificent beings that we truly are. And I'm working on this thing right now called greatness. I'm working really hard about greatness. And I think about things to personal discipline. Like the only way I can have time to walk is if I get up at 5 o'clock. I don't like getting up at 5, but I get up because it supports my vision of greatness. And discipline is an important part of that equation. Discipline, care, compassion of self, love of self, guidance of self. Greatness is available to us. I think we become healthier, we become more vibrant, more strong, more powerful, and more joyful. All those things are part of our life, part of our promise. They're unconditional. That's the key, that they're unconditional. I like the term of unconditional greatness.
My goodness, we could just end right there. I just want to remind people of their greatness too. It's incredible. Thank you so much for the work you do. And
you do too, by the way.
thank you.
You're an educator. You're an inspirational person. You're a beautiful soul, and you're helping so many people you never even hear from, people you never know exist. You're changing their lives.
I feel that.
You're making a huge difference. Thank you for doing it.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel that. Even if I never do. It's interesting. It strikes me too. Just a quick comment. Yes, just yesterday, somebody asked me about how far out I was booking appointments, and I let them know. And she said, "Oh, it's a little far." And I gave her two folks that do similar work that I do in case they had earlier appointments. And she was like, "Wow, thank you. That's so kind." Like she was surprised that I would give somebody else's information. But it breaks my heart a little bit that folks are surprised by kindness. That's not, it's not about me making money or me getting recognition. It's about spreading wellness and kindness and support and helping other people. And even if I never get to meet people or talk to them directly, I hope that is my hope that I get to.
The amazing thing about that, to observe an act of kindness, like you said, is enough. You don't have to believe in it. You can be negative. You can be downtrodden. You can be bummed out. You can be a pain in the neck. If you're observing, you're getting the boost of serotonin and dopamine. You're getting the boost. You're getting 800% boost.
And that is proven by science. I love that. I love it so much. Okay, so your next works, you're working on a book about death, a happy book about death.
Yes.
And what about greatness? Are you creating another documentary or writing another book or?
I'm talking to some film people about making another film.
Oh, fantastic. And you are
We're gonna have that sorted out probably. I'm doing the Omega Institute, and I'm speaking 4 days, 4 days worth of talks at the seminar at the Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York.
Well, you just pulled that out of my consciousness because I was just about to say that. I wish I could go. The Omega Institute is one of my favorite places on the planet.
You're wonderful. You're absolutely dynamite.
It's unreal. And oh gosh, I'm
Next year,
trying.
next year, let's go to France because our books are in German, they're in French. So the Way of Miracles
Oh
is now
wow,
printed in Romanian.
no doubt.
It's-
Yeah, no doubt. If I can make my way to the Rhinebeck Institute, I mean, I feel your presence now, but to be there with you for 4 days would be absolutely incredible with other like-minded souls. I'm hoping to make it there. That would be amazing.
Love to have you. Love to have you there.
Say that again?
Love to have you there if you can make it.
Oh gosh, I would so love it. Just to shake your hand, say hello. I was so giddy about talking with you last night over dinner. I'm surprised my husband wasn't like, who is this guy? Why are you so happy to talk to him?
Bring him to Omega if you come. Bring him with you.
Yes, I think that he would absolutely love it. I think it would be amazing.
Go out of my way to make a connection. It sounds like it's a great idea.
It would be so cool. And that's his New Jersey is he grew up there in New Jersey. So East Coast is his stomping grounds. Well, Dr. Mincolla, I really appreciate chatting with you today. Thanks so much for your wisdom. I'm just astounded by the work that you do.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend.
You too.
Thank you.
I'm hoping you got a useful nugget or two from today's podcast episode. May you be well, and I'll see you next time.